G'day, how are you going today? Isn't it just the most amazing thing to stop and think about the love of God? I mean, to think that God is alive, that He's really there, how would He communicate to us? I mean, think about the ancient days. I mean, they had no televisions, they had hardly any books. One of the easiest ways that people could remember the story of God is, of course, with pictures and sculptures and just wonderful things that reminds them what maybe God looks like or how He interacts with them in human affairs. But there's a danger, surely. And I think it's time today we address the particular question of what is the danger in having fantastic artworks that describe what God is like? Welcome to today's show. I'm James Toogood, and I'd like you just to think about this story. You see, last week we've discovered that the people of Israel had to flee the land of Egypt, partly because they were slaves, but also they were caught up in the worship and the adoration of the sculptures and the artwork and the beautiful, wonderful things in the land of Egypt. And so we have that famous, that recent Hollywood movie, Prince of Egypt. Just the most magic experience as the ancient Israelis go and leave the land of Egypt, and they escape and they end up at the promised land. A wonderful tale, a wonderful story, but God rescued them for two reasons. The first is they could escape the tyranny of having to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They were worshipping time, never stopping. And second, so they could escape the tyranny of worshipping so many statues and instead think about the invisible living God. Well, we've got Sarah Jane with us this morning. Hi.
Hi.
Now, the Holy Bible says the second law of God, it says that thou shalt not make unto thee any graven
Images.
Yes. That's statues or pictures.
Yes.
Of anything in heaven above.
Or earth beneath.
Or earth beneath, or even
the waters below.
So no pictures of fish.
No, or saints. They even says in the verse, yep, even the saints.
Oh, okay. So Mary may be in heaven, but the law of God does say, don't
make a big picture and bow down to it, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now just let's think about this, though.
Yes.
Artwork in church.
Mm-hmm.
We've got pictures inside our church.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
But do we bow down and worship them?
Okay.
Sometimes pictures and images can be there to actually remind us of our great God and remind us of His promises. So sometimes they might not just have pictures, but they may have His promises engraved on them or sewn into them. But are we worshipping those, or is it just a reminder to remind us how great our God is, so we continually worship our God? Okay,
so many churches, both Catholic, Orthodox and Protestant, have pictures inside church.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have works of fine sculpture.
Yes, they do.
Okay, and the ancient Israelis, of course, they had some wonderful sculptures of angels in their temple. But the point being...
Well, when does it become worship?
Okay.
You can have art and statues and things like that to remind you of how great our God is, but when does it change from admiring a piece of art to worshipping a piece of art?